Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. I'm Maggie Geoghegan, District Director for District 66. I'd like to officially welcome everyone to our town hall this evening. And at this time, I'd like to recognize some people who are here. Well, one person's coming in right now. First, we have Linda Kennedy, who is our newly appointed Program Quality Director, and Tashawn Harris-Yagorji, our Club Growth Director. And then our speaker this evening later will be Reggie Ford. Also, we have Perry Neal, our past District Director. So those are our dignitaries in the room. At this time, I'd like to just make a few announcements, and then I'm going to have Tashawn and Linda also speak. I'd like to thank all the club officers the presidents and the VPEs who got their proxies in. I know I had the area directors and the division directors running around last minute. As a district, we got 90 out of 95 of our club got their proxies in. So that was 95%. So I was real pleased with that. The ones we did not get in were clubs that were either folding or did not have their officer lists in. So overall, I thought that was a great work that we got done in the last minute. Also like to make an announcement change. The fall gala was scheduled for September 18th. We have moved that not only from being in person to virtual, we have also moved the date. And that date now is going to be on November 6th from 10 to 12 in the morning. And that is already on the calendar. I'd like to remind the district council, the presidents and the VPEs, as well as the DEC members, that we have our district council meeting on September 16th, and that is from 7 to 9 p.m. or as long as needed. And that's where we will approve the budget as well as many other things. You will be getting packets out. Tonight you'll get a packet as well as an email to register for the district council meeting for the voting members. And the other announcement I have is obviously Marty has stepped down as program quality director, and as district director I appointed and the DEC approved Linda Kennedy to be our program quality director. So she was called to duty and she has stepped up, and that's a tremendous help for us at the district level. The idea behind the town halls was really just to give us an opportunity to bring the members together in the district, since we can't meet in person right now. Just an opportunity for us to share things with you, but also to give you an opportunity to hear of motivational speakers. So every month we will have different speakers, and at the end of the meeting, I'll tell you who our upcoming speakers are. But then an opportunity for the members to ask us questions of what's going on for the DEC members, as well as each other, if you have ideas that you want to share. So I'd like to once again thank everybody for being here, and I am going to now turn the virtual lectern over to Linda Kennedy, our program quality director, who will help share a few things. Linda?
Well, good evening, everybody. Hello, hello. Everybody's thinking about what happened for club officer training. Did I get credit? I went, I don't see my name. Well, what we've been doing is going through the list, making sure that it's uploaded to Toastmasters International. For the names that I have received in the past few days, they have been added, but it may take a little while to show up on your Distinguished Club program. Please check every once in a while and before, I can't remember if it's October 30th or November 30th, but please check to make sure that the officers that attended, you see the number of officers that you said attended. Based on what we have recorded so far, we had 68% of the officers trained. Now we have 95 clubs, multiply that by 7, and for the number of officers trained, we use that number to divide it by the number of officers. So we have 68%. We could have done better, but that's okay. We're going to try something a little bit different for the winter so that we can make sure that everybody has the opportunities. But there were 22 clubs that had all 7 officers trained. Congratulations to those clubs. They will be listed in the document that's coming out, and you'll be able to see all the clubs and see if your club was one of them. They will receive the Super 7 award when it comes time for those awards. What about education? How's everybody doing in education? You're getting your level 1s, your level 2s, or maybe you're just trying to hold off a little bit longer. Go on and get it done. We have 150 educational awards. So that's a good starting point. The top 3 clubs, I will tell you, Bar Setters Toastmasters had 10 awards received up to this from July 1st to today, September. Well, I think it shows September 1st. Voices of Williamsburg Club had 9, and Voices of Change has 8. Of course, the awards are still coming in, and they will continue coming in. So go on and complete those level 1s and level 2s, all your levels. As for the next big thing is the annual conference, and I've been receiving emails. When is it going to be held? Where is it going to be held? Well, this year, well, it won't be this year, but for this year period, it will be April 30th through May 1st. And it's going to be at the Hotel Roanoke and Conference Center, of course, in Roanoke, Virginia. We are trying to do great things because how long has it been since we've seen each other? We want to celebrate. We want to have a good time. Put on your dancing shoes, put on your best dress, your gowns, your suits, tuxedos. Are we going to go that far? Yes, why not? Let's just do it up. So everybody, if there are any questions about education, about training, and please, again, check yourself. We've had the area directors contacting the clubs, and I do want to give a shout out to the division directors who held additional training sessions for members to get trained. As far as there were many members who went outside of the district, they went to other district trainings. We highly recommend, and we will try to promote that for winter as well, so that if you don't get a chance to attend one of ours, then maybe there's another district that you can attend to receive get the training done. So please contact me, pqdirector@tmdistrict66.org if you have questions, comments, or even suggestions. All right, Maggie, back to you.
Thank you, Linda. At this time, I'd like to call upon our Club Growth Director, Tashawn Harris-Ugorji.
Good evening, everyone. I want to remind you that the Smedley campaign is still going on. It started August 1st and it will end on September 30th. So if this is our membership building time of year. So I encourage everyone to try to promote your club through open houses and other meeting invitations so that you can earn incentives at the end of the year. Also, our dues period open up on August 16th, and you will receive an incentive award for clubs that pay their dues by September 15th. So we already have 4 clubs that have done so for the month of August, and then that's Expression, Speakeasy, Harrisonburg, and Augusta. So hats off to them for getting their dues in early. And did you know that we also have a new incentive this year called On the Road to Success? If you submit your mentoring plan and your club success plan by October 15th, to your area director, who would get it to me, then you will be recognized with an additional award for your club. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. At this time, I'm going to call upon our program quality director again, Miss Linda Kennedy.
All right, I'm back. Just one more announcement, and that is for WLI, which stands for Winter Leadership Institute. It is part of the Toastmasters Learning Leader Institute, but it's held in winter, so we call it winter. It will be held on December 4th and will run through January, perhaps February to get training in for club officers. The WLI, though, is a little bit bigger, where you have lots of different workshops to attend and get information. Now, we come to an exciting part of this meeting today, this town hall, and this is to introduce our guest speaker tonight. Let me tell you a little bit about our guest speaker before I say his name. Our guest speaker joined Toastmasters in 2008. He served as a club president and earned President Distinguished Award, as well as Select Distinguished Award. He also served as a club president in 2010, where he again achieved President's Distinguished. From there, he became an area governor. And for those of you who don't know, back in the day, we were governors. Now we are directors, area director. Believe it or not, he was the area director under me when I was the division director. And I saw right then the leadership qualities and capabilities of Reggie right at the time. We had a contest, I believe it was a division contest. Reggie served as the contest chair. And there was a little lull or something that happened that caused the contest to hesitate for a little bit. Reggie jumped up to the front and started talking and started getting the crowd excited. He just kept it alive. And at that time I thought, there are great things that are going to come out of this gentleman. Oh, I did say his name, didn't I? I was supposed to hold that. Well, from area governor, he went to division governor in 2012. And in 2012, he achieved distinguished division. From there, he leapt to lieutenant governor marketing. What does that sound like? Club growth director. He served as the club growth director in 2013. And from there, he went to lieutenant governor education and training. Can you figure out what that is? Program quality director. And in 2014, he received the excellence in education and training. Finally, he became the district director in 2015, and he led the district to distinguished status. This hadn't happened for the past 7 years. So the district was excited and thrilled that our speaker today led us to this status. Well, believe it or not, we thought, I guess he's through, but no, he decided to run for Toastmasters International office and ran as the Region 7 International Director. Please help me welcome Distinguished Toastmaster Reggie Ford, past District Director and past International Director. Please help me welcome.
Thank
Reggie
you.
Ford.
Thank you, Linda Kennedy. Members of the deck and regular members and trio members. I remember that incident Linda was talking about, and I was scared to death. I was shook. But I learned from that incident, and this is something that I want to share with you today about leadership. My mentor a long time ago told me about flattery. And I know you're probably saying, what is flattery? What does it has to do with leadership? Well, you can get caught up in flattery. And I'm gonna read you a poem that he read me, and then I will go into a couple of other bullet points and something that I think you would really enjoy. He read this poem by Aesop, and if you know who Aesop was, he was a slave, and it has a ton of poems, and I love Aesop. So if you ever, it's A-E-S-O-P if you want to Google it. Bunch of poems, but this poem is about the fox and the crow. One bright morning, as the fox was following his sharp nose through the woods in search of a bite to eat, he saw a crow on the limb of a tree overhead. This was no means the first crow the fox had ever seen. What caught his attention this time and made him stop for a second look was that the lucky crow held a bit of cheese in her beak. No need to search any farther, thought the sly master fox. Here is a dainty bite for my breakfast. Up he trotted to the foot of the tree in which the crow was sitting. And looking up admirably, he cried, "Good morning, beautiful creature." The crow, her head cocked on one side, watched the fox suspiciously. But she kept her beak tightly closed on the cheese and did not return his greeting. "What a charming creature she is," said the fox. "How her feathers shine. What a beautiful form and what splendid wings. Such a wonderful bird should have a very lovely voice. Since everything else about her is so perfect, could she sing just one song, I know I shall hail her queen of birds." Listening to these flattering words, again, listening to these flattering words, the crow forgot all her suspicion and also her breakfast. She wanted very much to be called queen of birds. So she opened her beak. No, I said she opened her beak. She opened her beak wide to utter her loudest call, and out and down fell the cheese straight into the fox's open mouth. "Thank you," said Master Fox sweetly as he walked off. "Though it is cracked, you have a voice sure enough, but where are your wits? The flatterer lives at the expense of those who will listen to him." Flattery is the act of giving excessive compliments. Flattery has been used as a standard form of discourse when addressing people in power. Now, you may be saying, why is he talking to me about flattery? My mentor told me you have to accept flattery and critique for improvement as being on the same level. You have to accept them the same. Because if you get mesmerized with the pretty sounding words and the adulation that you receive, sometimes it will cause you to make decisions that are not in the best interest. If you can keep your head when others are losing theirs and trying to get you to lose yours, you will be successful. I've always kept that in the back of my head. I've always treated those two the same, flattery and critique the same. I never allowed it to blow my head up. Now, a lot of us in the real world call flattery BS. I can't say it because it's Toastmasters, but you know what BS stands for. But sometimes that flattery, you need to realize that is a compliment. So you have to be able to discern the two. You have to be able learn how to discern that. Leadership. So let's talk about some other things that go along with flattery that will help you to become a better leader. The first thing you need to learn is you have to be firm, be fair, be frank, and be friendly. Let me say that again. When you're running a team, you have area directors and division directors, and you have the trio. You have to be firm, you have to be fair, you have to be frank, you have to be friendly. You must be before you can become. That's deep. You must be before you can become. You must be teachable. And those are a couple, I'm gonna name 10 things, and then I'm gonna have a few minutes left open if you have any questions. There are 10 attributes that I like to use when I'm training or talking about leadership. But before I get there, I want you to understand something called the Johari window. I'm not going to go into it. I'll briefly talk about it. You can look it up. It's spelled Johari, the Johari window. It is important how others see you and how you see others. and blend the two. And that's the Johari window. Johari window is a window pane. It was two guys who came up with the theory. And each is one big pane with 4 windows. And it teaches you what you know about yourself and what others know about you. That's in pane number 1. The second pane is the most important pane. It's what others know about you, but you don't know about yourself. Those are the ones we tend to fight and say, I don't do that. That's not me. You might want to listen to those. That's window pane number 2. Number 3 is not known to others and known to yourself. Those are your little secrets that you keep and you don't want anybody to know what's going on. And the last one kind of threw me for a loop. It's what is not known to others and what's not known to yourself. Like, what is that? What, I don't know about it and somebody else doesn't know about it. That's a very important one too. Give you a small example. Let's say Linda, I asked her, does she like sushi? Well, she doesn't know because she's never eaten sushi before. I don't know if she likes it. So that's what it means when he says something you don't know about yourself and something that other people don't know about you. But this theory is based on the 2 ideas. Trust can be acquired by revealing information about yourself to others and learning yourself from that feedback. Now, how does that relate to Toastmasters in your area director position? You have to know your team. And when I say team, you think of your team as one. You all are just one unit, not 24 and 26 and 28 or whatever the numbers are in Division B. I know they switched them up, but you have to look at yourself as one team. When you are in a leadership position, most people think you're just there to tell people what to do. And that's not the case. It's really not. You've made a commitment. And you have a very strong team. You have a strong trio. You're strong. A lot of you all haven't seen before, but I've heard some wonderful things about you. And this is what's going to knit you together so you can have a wonderful, strong team to move this district into the future so we can continue to be strong. But when you're in leadership position, you're a teacher, you're a mentor, you're a coach, you're a listener, you're an advisor. Whatever you do, don't say, that's not my job. If you can master these qualities, you are reluctant to succumb to the ills of flattery. So here are the 10 qualities that I want to share with you. And I know I'm going kind of fast. The first quality that I want you to really embrace and really think about is very important. And it's the willingness to share skills, knowledge, and expertise. Now, some of you all say, I'm just in this position and I really don't know a whole lot. Well, that's what you have the division director for. And then that's what you have the other person in line for. Don't be afraid to ask for advice, to share with your team. Don't be afraid to talk to your team about advice. Number 2, demonstrate a positive attitude and act as a positive role model. I think this is one of the crucial things in life. And I remember when I was in the military and I had a sergeant and we all went to party one time and he got a little drunk and he got more drunk than the rest of the team did. But you know what? He was the first one at work the next day. And I asked him, I said, why are you here? We thought you was going to take off. He said, if I'd have taken off of work, you would have thought you could have taken off work. I apologize for getting drunk in front of you all. It won't happen again. And I admired him for that because he was at work when everybody thought he wasn't going to be at work. So be a positive role model. Number 3, takes a personal interest in the mentorship relationship. Personally get involved with that. If you're mentoring someone, don't look at it as a chore. Personally look at it. When you saw your child take his or her first steps and that smile that came on your face, that's how mentorship is. Do that for mentorship. Number 4, exhibit enthusiasm in the field. Make sure that you are showing the enthusiasm and be firm, fair, frank, and friendly like I talked about earlier. So you're giving them the constructive criticism to help them grow. Number 5, values ongoing learning and growth in the field. I have a little debate with people on this. I don't think you have to love what you do, but I do think you have to put the energy into whatever you're doing, no matter what your affinity for to be successful. You have to put some sort of some attachment to it. And I think the only way to grow is to learn that field. So learn where you are, learn what you need to do so you can be as powerful and strong as you can in that area. Provides guidance and constructive feedback. You already know that. That's Toastmasters. We preach that. Everyone, if you come into Toastmasters, if you don't leave with anything, you learn how to walk away and give constructive feedback. So I think all of that, that's part of your DNA right now. Number 7, respect by colleagues and employees in all levels of the organization. What that means, get along with your counterparts. Of course, you know, Division A wants to be president, Division B wants to be, everybody wants to shoot for that top spot. Well, you can all support each other and you still can give your all. We don't have to sabotage one another. We can all be there and embrace each other and bask in the glory of someone who's done better than us. So that is very important. Number 8, sets and meets ongoing personal and professional goals. I know for a fact District Director have you all reading a 12-week year and she's setting goals and doing that. That is amazing. It may sound crazy. You may not like it. You may be talking and saying, I can't even believe she's doing this. I don't have time to be reading this book. Trust me. Listen, adhere to that. I guarantee you, you will be a lot better once you get involved and just give your all to it. Number 9, values the opinions and initiatives of others. A good mentor appreciates the ongoing effort of a mentee and empowers him or her through positive feedback and reinforcement. What I like about that, or what I want to add to that, is be a mentee and a mentor. You need to be sandwiched. You need to be in the middle. I always call Linda my division governor because, like she said, I was the area governor, but I learned a lot under her. If you all know Linda is all in 100%, 120%. She's all in, and I learned a lot under her. I may have a couple of other little things that shine, but she kind of molded and put that together. And that is what you need. You need a mentor and a mentee. Number 10, motivates others by setting good examples. Practice what you preach. It's simple. Don't say one thing and do another. I have a good friend of mine, he's a barber. And it was funny, he was telling me this. He doesn't go out with his employees that's in the shop. And I said, why? He said, because I'll go out and I'll talk and have a drink or two with them and we'll laugh and do that. He said, but I don't stay out with them a long time and get involved and do a bunch of hoorah and all this. And I said, why? And he said, because I need them to see me as a human, but I also need them to see me in the leadership position. It goes back to the sergeant I was talking to you in the military. He did not want them to see him in his most vulnerable positions or doing something that is unbecoming or not professional. And that happens in leadership because your friend befriend someone and you'll kind of let your guard down a little bit. And you're fine and you're happy. And then when it comes to leadership and they have to make that hard decision, now that person kind of turns on you because they are putting that friendship before your role as a leader to lead them. And that causes a lot of conflict. So he was very guarded on that. He was very guarded because he didn't want his friendship to wander over into the leadership part, and he had to make a decision based off of a friendship. I've seen flattery destroy great teams and organizations because the leader was mesmerized by the adulation and kind words of others. Accept flattery as the same level of response as you would if it was a critique or improvement. Now, I know I went through that kind of fast, and one of the things that I really want to talk about what the trio is doing right now is the way that you all are having these town hall meetings. This is excellent. And the reason it's excellent because it is constant feeding. You're getting information. You're learning. You may not want to get on all of them, but you're getting information. So you can never say you're left in the dark. You don't know what's going on. And the more information you have, the more information you can pass down to your clubs. I really enjoy this format. And I don't know what's going to happen once the COVID is up and you all are going to meet in person, or if we're going to do a hybrid of this, but whatever it is, support it and bring someone else to these meetings as well, because that's the way this district can succeed and be very strong. Madam District Director, that is the end of my presentation. I hope I didn't go over time, but I just wanted to hit a couple of bullet points and just share a couple of things with you. I know I ran through it rather quickly, but the whole point of that presentation, which is our presentation, is not to let flattery be your beacon, because people can guide you with all those pretty sounding words, and before you know it, you're off course and you wonder what happened. You've been to open your beacon, drop the cheese out. Madam District Director.
Thank you, Reggie. Everybody unmute. Let's give Reggie a loud round of applause of appreciation for his wisdom that he has shared with us. And at this time, I'd like to open it up and see if anybody has any questions for Reggie before we go on to other general questions. Don't be shy.
Reggie, I have a question. Would you repeat number 6 again under the qualities, the 10 qualities?
Yes, number 6 is provides guidance and constructive feedback. I think I skipped number 6. But yeah, that's what it is. Constructive feedback and guidance.
Thank you. I knew Robin would be taking copious notes. I scribbled some things, but Robin's expert at this. Does anybody else have questions for Reggie? Reggie was the last district director or district governor to have our district 66 be a distinguished district. I think we should be asking him lots of questions on how we can do that as a district.
It may be a little shy since I look like.
Reggie, I have a question.
Yes.
As the district director, what was your main focus? I mean, in terms of when you moved into the position, what were some of the things that you focused on or you felt that need to be, I guess, in the forefront in order to achieve a distinguished district?
So the number one thing that I thought about, the number one thing I wanted to do was not say we were going to be distinguished. I forbid that we were going to be distinguished. And the reason I did that is because every year in Toastmasters, you know, July 1, whenever you have your meetings, everybody's excited. It's a new year, you got new energy, and everybody is excited. And we said we're going to be distinguished, and nothing against anybody in there, but I didn't see a path to get there. So I didn't want us to follow the hype and we didn't have a path to get there. So I forbade that to be spoken. And then we started working on putting a plan together. But I think the key point that really, and this goes for all of you all, is I had a quad. So you got the trio, but I had 4 other people to make sure that everything was good. It was on time, because right now the trio, they got so much stuff they have to present to world headquarters that you all don't even have a clue about. And if they didn't do it, they would cut money off. So I had a team to make sure that all of the administration piece was being done. Then I had another team, two pieces. Yeah, one team to get all the back office stuff done. So, you know, that's the stuff nobody wants to see. They don't want to hear about it, get it done. Then I had a team out front doing all the fun stuff, the happy stuff. Let's do this and da-da-da. So most of the people in the district see all the fun stuff. So I kind of did 2 of them at the same time. And I think that was the catalyst that got the team over the top. I always tell people, it wasn't me, it was a collective group of us sitting together talking one-on-one, and we came out, and as many times people on my team said, "Oh, Reggie, I don't think that's going to work." I said, okay. Good question.
Anyone
Thank
else have a question for Reggie?
You had a really good group of division directors too.
And so let me pick up on that. And this is, and Perry was one of the division directors. And
Of course.
but let me tell you what I did with Perry. And he probably, I did, and I remember in my presentation, I said, don't say that's not my job. Well, Perry was the #1 division director. He won division director of the year. And so I had a couple of other divisions that needed some pushing and something. And I called on Perry. I said, hey, Perry. Perry had already done his job, so to speak. But I'm looking at this. Remember, I said, look at this as one, not individual. I'm looking at this as a whole team. So I called on Perry to help other division directors and people get their numbers and do that. Because I'm looking at it as a whole team, not just, hey, Perry, you did your job. Now you can go sit on the sideline. No. So, and Perry was very instrumental in helping that. And he took that division from last to first place in 1 year. So kudos to Perry and that and the team who helped get that done. Nice way to pat yourself on the back, Perry.
My skill set is varied and wide.
Lots of flattery going on here. Well, one of the reasons we have the town halls is not only to bring in a speaker, but also give you the opportunity to ask questions in general, because as a district, I've challenged all our leaders to be visible, accessible, and accountable. And that is why we're doing this. So you can ask us questions, and we are very transparent in things that we are doing this year. So at this time, everybody except for Perry can ask me a question. Nice. No, Perry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that one thing Reggie did during that year was he got buy-in from everybody, because leadership, when you strip it all the stuff away, at its core, all leadership is having a clear, concise idea of where you want to take the organization and communicating that vision so that others buy into it. Reggie got us all to buy into it, and he also adopted the mentality of failure is not an option. We didn't have a choice, because he would call and pester the crap out of you.
Well, he's passed a little of that on to me, because Reggie is one of my mentors, and he has taught me a lot. So Reggie and I started our book club, like, I guess it was only 2 years ago, maybe 3. I don't even know. It runs together. And the first book we did was the 12-week year, which is why I am so familiar with that book. And I've challenged all of our deck members, or area directors, division directors, and managers, as well as the other trio members, to read that book and to use that philosophy in having a vision, setting goals, and breaking it down into tactics. So during a 12-week period, so we can be goal-oriented and achieve great things. So I know your area directors and division directors have been hard at work doing that. So you may hear lots of things from them. Well, where's your club success plan? Where, do you have your membership list in? How are we doing on getting our dues in? Because that is part of their 12-week plan at this time. Questions that you have for any of the trio members, or John, our public relations managers here, as well as Tashana and Linda, if you've seen them, but please ask away.
I'm district director. I do have I want a comment, another comment, if I may.
Absolutely.
So, and I'm going back to John's question, and we all start with an icebreaker. Everyone who comes in Toastmasters starts with an icebreaker, and there's certain people you will hit on the way who will send your trajectory in a certain way. And those people, it was 3 people that I always talk about in Toastmasters. One of them is not in Toastmasters anymore, Pat Jordan, and she was amazing in Toastmasters. Linda Kennedy, and then I always talk about Andrea Morgan, because I call her my district the director. I was district governor, because she was the last district governor. No, Mary was the last district governor. But those people, those 3, really helped me out so much, and that's why I mentioned the mentor-mentee the sandwich thing, that incident, and I called it incident. It was at St. Paul's when Linda talked about that contest. And I, believe it or not, as nervous and scared as I was, I grew so much from that one incident that happened. Because you're in Toastmasters, you're nervous, all these people looking at you, and you just don't want to mess up. And you knew, and she had all of her area governors, we running our own contests and everything. And I grew from that. So I know Maggie says this, and I don't think I'll be pushing her that hard, but Maggie has an ability to really connect with people. You may not always agree. People didn't agree with me. They call me the district dictator. but believe it or not, when you're in that position, those people, the trio people, they really truly have your best interest at hand. Sometimes they may not communicate it the way you want to hear it, but they truly do. And your support with them, not saying don't question them, but your support will help move you along so fast that you will look back and say, wow, I remember when Maggie, I did not agree with that. I didn't agree with what Linda or Tashawn said, but I see what they were saying, because they see a whole something else that you all don't see. They actually see it. They actually see it, and this, I shouldn't even say this word, but I was on the board. So they actually see it as a nonprofit, Toastmasters Relearning, but they actually see it from an organizational. They're actually running a business. And so sometimes they'll be making decisions that you may not agree with. And I just want to share that with you all, because it just depends on what your vantage point is, why some things may not make sense to you, or they may make sense to you. Thank you, Madam District Director.
Thank you, Reggie. That is absolutely true. There's sometimes things that we do as a trio that are under the guidelines from the board. And therefore, there's things that we can and can't do based on what the board tells us. So that may have some influence on our decisions. Other questions from members? You're a quiet group tonight. Any takers? If not, we'll wrap up early, but I'm willing to say if anybody has questions.
I think Perry has something to say. He was just texting me in the chat room.
No, I don't. Reggie was trying to be disruptive. Buckeyes are playing tonight. It's the start of the high holy days, college football.
Well, I have one quick question and maybe a little comment as well. Thank you all for having this. And this is my first one attending, and I've enjoyed it. And I think a light bulb had gone off when you all were talking about those that if you have one person that can do the job and not say, well, that's not my job kind of thing. Because sometimes in a club, you might have one person that's doing 3 different jobs, and trying to encourage others to step up, because we look at it, you basically are volunteering to be an officer. But I was always trying to figure out, how can you encourage that person? You're in there for public speaking and leadership. So how do you encourage that person to, or someone in your club to, hey, push them out there and not leave them hanging? But then at the same time, if you see where they might be a little intimidated, how can you just coach them along and say, okay, well, this is what you should do. And then they're like, oh, I didn't want to make a mistake. And Reggie made that point as well. You don't want to mess up. So that, I appreciated that. And if anybody has any type of advice, anything else they can coach me along with helping others in that field, that would be great.
Would anybody else like to address this?
Charlene, I really, I relate to you. I just feel I'm in the same position. I'm a VPE, I'm not an area director. My wonderful past president is on here, Jessica Cotman, who is now area director, who's in our club, but I deal with the same thing as a VPE. It's very hard to kind of motivate and try to get members and try to get people in because they're scared. They don't know what Toastmasters is about, right? They just think this is like a stale club. Well, one guest I had told me, well, I never knew it was like this. I thought it was just you had to just do regular speeches and just talk. Like I said, no, it's a growing experience. It's a development experience. And one thing that my president always says, our current president says that this is a safe place. This is a safe place to make mistakes. And we're going to critique you with great feedback. We're not going, it's a safe place. So I can definitely relate to you, Charlene, when it comes to something like that, because as a DPA, I'm pushing, I'm trying to get the levels done. I'm trying to get the roles filled for the meetings, but yet trying to do it in a positive manner. So it's just, I think Jessica nominated me to this because she knew I had the positive manner, but it can be hard sometimes. So I can definitely relate to that. It can definitely be hard, but just keep pushing and keep going. I mean, and that's what I've been doing. And I reach out to different people. I reach out to my district, my area district director all the time, just to ask her for opinions and things that she can give me tips and, tricks on what to do. So maybe that'll help you just a little bit, just from my VPE perspective.
I appreciate that. And we do have a good club, but sometimes you do have to do a little bit of nudging. So I appreciate that. Thank you, everyone.
Can
Thank
I
you.
comment on that?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Charlene, what I tell people two things. One thing, you don't start growing until you step outside your comfort zone. If you're comfortable, you are not growing. And the second thing is if you wait until you're ready for a position, you waited too long. This is a learning organization. You're here to learn. We had a situation on my district director year similar to what's gone on now, where the program quality director wasn't going to step forward, and Reggie was international director at the time. And he's also been a mentor to me. And I said, well, maybe I should step back and do PQD again. And he said, no, you've already learned everything you need to learn from that position. There are other people that can do it. Your turn to step on to a higher place. And I also tell people, what are you worried about? Remember this, folks, riot, R-I-O-T, relax. It's only Toastmasters. If you are the worst possible president in the history of Toastmasters, oh, well, we'll elect another one next year. We'll keep going on. You're not going to kill anybody. So just try. There is a whole community of people out here that are aching to help you succeed. And if you don't see it in yourself, I tell people, if other people are coming up to you and say, have you thought about leadership? They see something in you. Trust them if you can't trust yourself. So that would be my recommendations.
Which is why I am where I am. I can't tell you how many times Barry and I have had those conversations, and it was his encouragement and his nudging that encouraged me to move on from an area director and division director and club growth director and then program quality director. It is scary at times, but it is a safe environment in which we all can learn, and we're not all going to be perfect, and that's okay. This is an environment in which we learn, we help each other, we have lots of mentors, and we should be mentors to other people. And that is the great thing about Toastmasters. One of the things I really want to encourage is the networking and sharing with each other. So Ina and Charlene, you should talk more. And this is a opportunity to meet people here, but take some of these conversations offline and really network with other people. Did anyone else have anything else they'd like to share? Reggie.
I just want to comment on that. Charlene, good question. Indecision and procrastination are twin brothers, where one is found, the other one soon will follow. That's in a book called Think and Grow Rich. Get that. And another book I want to tell you about, and I'll tell you why I'm saying this, is called The Color Code. It's Color Code. It's by Taylor Hartman. And it's similar to the Johari window, but it talks about, I was taught the color code years ago, but I was taught a different color. from what that color code book is. And what it does, so you got a blue person, this is the colors I was taught, and then the colors in that book are different. A blue person is a fun person. The green is a analytical, the yellow is a compassion, the red is the leader type person. So a lot of times we are talking to people with whatever personality color we are, and we're wondering why they're not moving or why they're not responding. Because I may be a red and they may be a yellow. They want to go out and plant flowers and, help the homeless people. And I'm talking about, hey, let's go get this money, da, 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 da. Well, that's not, it's not congruent. We're bumping heads. We have to learn to read other people and talk to them. That's what a Johari window I was telling you about. It's important. Then that's how we can move the ball a lot further than we can once we understand the other person. I think it was Stephen Covey, seek first to understand, then to be understood. So those are a couple, and it is terrifying getting up in Toastmasters, especially the very first time you get up. And then you hear that the area governor is going to be here or the district director, somebody, now you're even more scared. So we have to learn how to push without being pushy, if that makes sense. Because Perry's absolutely right. If you sit in the back of that Toastmasters group for 2 years, you're becoming a great observer, but you're not working on your skill set. So how do we get that great observer to do something? And that's why we start out with that timer role. That's why we give them those little bitty roles, and we'll sit somebody by them and teach them this. And if they mess up, we just, don't worry about it. It's good. We got it. I messed up 5 times too. That's what you do. And that slowly builds their confidence. One thing I hate now, it happens all the time throughout Toastmasters, but one person is doing 3 roles in the meeting. It's horrible. So those little tidbits, that was a great question. I think that's probably #1 question in Toastmasters. And how do we get people there? And once we get them there, how do we get them up to do something? Good question.
Thank you.
Anybody else have questions? One of the things we talked about last week in one of the meetings I was in is how can we grow our membership? It's a problem that all districts are having throughout the world. And one thing that we talked about was how each one of us can just invite one person. If we each bring in one person, look what it will do to our district. We need to focus on retention. Right now, I think the retention is about 50%. I have to look at the number specifically for our district, but it's not as great as it could be. But if we could keep members, and every member that we kept brought in one member, it would add tremendously to our numbers, which would help all those in our clubs. And therefore, we're not wearing 2 or 3 hats at our club meetings. So start thinking about how you, as an individual, can bring in one person and challenge the other members of your club. Bring in one person, and then it will grow. And then those people, it'll bring in one more person, and it will just grow. And it's not like each person has to bring in 10 members, although if you want to, I'm okay with that. I'm sure Tashawn would be happy with that, and Linda would be happy with that. But let's start what each one of us individually can do. Does anybody have any questions before I announce who our speakers are for the next few months? If not, I'd like to announce that in October, John Roberts, our public relations manager, has asked Paul Artelli, who's a accredited speaker who's been to our district many times and is a phenomenal speaker. He will be speaking in October at our town hall. In November, we'll have Joan Bowling. She's from St. Michael's, and she's also in the One Country, One World club that I'm in. And she is another phenomenal speaker. December, we have our very own Perry Neal, who will be speaking. And then in January, we have Neha Tana from District 117 in North Carolina. She's also been up in our district many, many times. So we have some phenomenal speakers coming up. If there's anybody else in particular you like, I I will be happy to reach out to them, or you can invite someone and let me know, and we'll find a spot for them to speak to at a meeting to speak at. So I'd like to thank everyone for being here tonight at our town hall. A special thank you to Reggie and for being here. And John, I see you have your hand up. Did you have something you'd like to share?
No, I had a question. What did you say the first speaker was for October? Paul what?
Artelli, A-R-T-A, yeah, A-R-T-A-L-E. And I will work with John to get those on the calendar. And that way so it's always going to be the first Thursday of the month at 6:30. Open the room around 6:15 because we have I call it a Pentagon meeting, and we're beyond trio calls because we have John and Robin and let's see, Kayla and Freddie had been there. Right. Thank you. It's hard for me to remember all names. So we definitely have a team call every Thursday from 5:30 to 6:30 normally, but we cut it a little short on the first Thursday so we can have our town hall meeting. So thank you for being here. I'm going to stop the recording, and that we will put this on the YouTube channel. John has been putting these up, and then you're welcome to stay here and talk and socialize as long as you like.